good, what's good, what's good? What's happening, y'all? It's a little interesting being on the other side of the camera. You know, I've been watching YouTube videos for literally forever, but this is definitely my first time actually being the YouTube video. My name is freb. I am a photographer, beginner photographer. I've only been doing this for like not even a year really. I started in May. This is really the first YouTube video I've ever done. This channel is gonna be really photography based. So I'm 20 years old, I'm in college. I've only been doing photography for like, I think going on like 7 months now, but you know, since that time I started, you know, I've become the leading student photographer for my school's basketball team. You know, I get to travel with them sometimes. I've done portraits for my friends and like some different clients. I was contracted to do a photo shoot for a vitamin patch company, and I'm gonna be presenting them like the photos that I did, I think next month. Hopefully I'll be able to direct some of their other photography later on. I've also started an Instagram for my photography. It's gotten like 300 followers. It's definitely like not anything like crazy, but you know, it's just like showing you what you can do within like not even a year, right? So you can go from absolute zero to quite a bit of progression, and you know, I'm just like here to guide anyone who's on that, who's trying to start on that path. So this channel is definitely geared towards like younger creatives, people in college, people in high school, you know, I mean, even younger, older, it doesn't really matter who you are, but just if you want to get a start and if you want to advance quickly, I'd say definitely subscribe, definitely keep up with this channel, and you know, I'll give you all like little tips and tricks and all the resources that you'll need to go from knowing absolutely nothing, because I came into photography knowing nothing, like no background, jack. And so yeah, you'll go from there to being able to like talk comfortably like about like anything. The very first question we got to answer is, why in the hell would anyone want to do photography? Why the hell would I want to do photography? And so the big reason is like, since forever, I mean, I'm sure there's a shared experience among all of us, like humans just genuinely just like great images, like good images just like bring out like a certain feeling, but not just that, like they also just like look cool. So it's just half of it is just like wanting to make stuff that just looks cool, and that's really half of it. And the main, I'd say the main goal in photography though, specifically like thinking professionally, artistically, creatively, is in capturing moments, right? Because what a camera has the ability to do is has the ability to freeze a moment in time, and you can look at it forever and you can interpret it in all these different ways. But what does it do? It freezes a single moment in time, and it tells a story from a single frame. And so you'll hear literally every YouTuber that talks about photography say about like, oh, you know, this is about capturing a moment. Like, it's just a repeated phrase. Like everybody, like, it's just known. Photography is about capturing moments. Obviously things like studio photography and photo shoots and things like that, where you know you have like control over all the variables, it's different, but at the same time I'd say it's still very similar, because you won't take a picture of your model just doing something random, right? You're gonna direct them to what to do, so you have to still capture a moment, you have to capture a feeling, you know, maybe a certain facial expression, something like that. And since I always had an incredible fascination with images, and since my ego's all the way up there, whenever I see something that's of like super high quality, I'm always just like, okay, why can't I do that? You know, I bet I could do that. And you know, it's halftime, I'll be trash talking, but like this time, you know, I really had to lock in, you know. So, but yeah, and so I got started. I was literally just scrolling on TikTok, and I saw this one dude. He said it was like a slideshow. He had posted some pictures that he'd taken on his, I think it was a Sony ZV-E10, and I was scrolling through and I was like, what the hell, this is like the crazy photos. And I was like, why? I want to take these photos. And but first I looked at the price of the camera, and I was just like, yeah, that's crazy. It was like, I think it was like, well, like $800. I know, I'm not doing all that. Hell no. We're on a budget, college student, right? And so then I just dove into researching what camera I could get. for the price range that I was comfortable in, which is literally anything under $300. And so after like a week of just going through all the different types of cameras, all the different companies of cameras, I decided on getting this bad boy right here. This is the Panasonic Lumix G6. It's a micro four thirds, and I love this camera to death. I don't use it anymore. Obviously, I'm recording on the camera that I use right now, but this camera will literally, it does everything that you need it to do, especially if you're an absolute beginner. And you know, some people will say like, oh, you know, get a Sony a6000, which is like a little bit, or like a Sony a63, 64, like the camera I'm using right now, like some people regard as a beginner camera. And to that, I'd say not everyone has like the budget to be able to afford this, because this is like $500 used. And so, you know, you have to work with what you got. And if you are on a super tight budget, you can go as far as using your phone. But for the price, this camera just does everything you need it to do. Some specs, like 16 megapixels, which isn't crazy, but at the end of the day, like megapixels aren't really the biggest thing when it comes to like resolution and quality of your images. ISO goes from 160 to 12,800. Again, it's a micro four thirds sensor, so you're already not really gonna get that much low light performance. But you know, if you know what you're doing with manual mode, you still might be able to get like some decent working shots in low light. It has a 3-inch LCD that you can like flip out, so which is like really nice if you want to get those like vertical shots. It has video capability, but it's not a video camera in the slightest, so it's definitely more photo geared, but it does have 1080p video if you want to do that. It also has 7 frames per second continuous shooting, and autofocus is okay, but for a beginner, like this is literally all that you need. You don't need anything more, and anything less would just be like, especially because $200 is not crazy. That's how much I got this for, $200, if you can believe it. It just does everything that you need it to do. I'm gonna link a playlist of like all the beginner videos on YouTube that I think are the very best. Like these are the creators that, you know, really make it click inside your head what each thing in a camera does, like how to work a camera, like how all of that stuff works, you know, like manual mode, aperture, rule of thirds, you know, like framing, there's all of that, exposure, and these creators are incredible. If I didn't have these YouTube videos, I don't think I would be as good of a photographer as I am today. But yeah, when I first got this camera, I had absolutely no idea what I was gonna shoot, right? I got the camera, I was holding it in my hand, and I was in my dorm just taking pictures of like the chair, the sofa, and I was just like, okay, so it's not working out. I thought it would work out. But my first outing, I just went out of my dorm and I walked all the way across campus, just taking photos with literally anything. And the first photo I was proud of was this photo of a white flower that I found in my walk that I took at the widest aperture I could. And I was like, oh, the depth thing like was really cool, but it was just like, you know, it wasn't really like, it was cool, and it was surprising to me that my camera could even make that image, but it wasn't an amazing photo. And so the one big thing was that I didn't know what to shoot, and so definitely figure that out. The second thing that I had a problem with was I had watched like a couple of videos on how to, you know, use manual mode, but I was nowhere near the proficiency like needed to be able to nail perfect exposure every time and all that. And so I didn't know how to properly work my camera. So that's number 2, which is the only way you're gonna progress with that is just more practice. Like that's really the only way. As soon as you got the basics down, just keep practicing as much as possible. Do as many different lighting conditions as possible. Experiment with literally every single setting, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to know your camera in and out. And then the third thing was that I didn't really know that the photos didn't just like come. I didn't know that the photos came out of the camera like kind of washed out, because nobody tells you like the raw files, they have all this detail, but you are the one that has to bring like the color out of them. You know, you have to edit them so that, you know, certain colors pop, so like certain highlights are brought out, certain shadows are brought out, blah blah blah. And so I didn't know anything about that. And so those are the three big things. So it was the subject, I didn't know what to shoot; the manual mode, I didn't know how to work my camera; and the editing. I was literally editing on my phone. I had no idea what Lightroom was. I didn't know what Darktable was. But yeah. So after like another like week of watching more videos, like going out more and more, just like on the streets taking photos of anything, I was like looking at the history of photography, and I decided that given the gear that I had, and where I was, which is Baltimore, Maryland, the only reasonable like thing I was comfortable with shooting was street photography, which was like perfect because, you know, I live in a metropolitan area, and you know, it just gives you like a lot of chances to like go out and just snap as many pictures as you want. And on top of that, it builds confidence, because street photography is it's a type of photography where you kind of have to grapple with like the societal norm of like, do you want to take pictures of people? But yeah, so I would go out literally from like the crack of dawn to like late evening, just taking pictures in downtown, in like North Baltimore, like different areas, as different times of the day as possible, so that I could get used to the different lighting conditions. And through all of that, like after a week of that, I was still watching YouTube videos, and then I finally learned, oh, what are like the editing softwares. And I know I couldn't afford Lightroom, that shit was expensive as hell. But I saw that Darktable was a pretty good alternative that people were using. And so I downloaded that, and I would say if you don't have the money for Lightroom, well, definitely use Darktable. It's very similar. Like there's not that many features in Lightroom that you're missing out on. But like a week later, my friend was like, bro, the college that I go to gives you Lightroom for free. How I didn't know that, who knows, but whatever, I'm not really stressing about it. But yeah, so definitely get Darktable, it's completely free. And if you don't have that, just edit on your phone. Like it's really not that, but you know, just get Darktable for sure. And then if you can afford Lightroom, get Lightroom. So I had made an Instagram, you know, to promote my photography, like pretty much as soon as my like first or second day of going out and shooting, and I would post on there, and I would like follow everyone, as many people as I knew that I knew would follow me back, like from my main page, and you know, that would just like get more traction, and you know, it would get the word out that, you know, I was doing photography, that I was a photographer, and that really helps like build your ethos, because people can see firsthand like your work. That's how you like build your portfolio. You know, I'll show you a couple of pics that I took early on, and if I took those kind of pictures today, I'd be pissed at myself, right? Like you can see the growth like by scrolling through your feed. Like it's just insane. And after 7 months, I've gotten to 300 followers. Not the best, you know. I have, but like, to be fair, I don't really post that often anymore, because you know, I'm working photography like for my school and all that, and the only stuff that I really post on my photography page is like street photography and portraits. But I would say definitely try to be as consistent as possible. You know, people will start to forget about who you are and your work if you don't like keep reminding them, and so be consistent for sure. So as I was posting and as I was getting like more traction, a couple of friends like decided to reach out, and they were like, oh, like, are you taking clients? Like, can you do a photo shoot for me? And I was like, hell yeah, like, well, let's do this, right? And they asked me like, do you charge? And I was like, no, I don't charge for right now because I was still a beginner, right? And I'd say like the first couple photo shoots or clients that you get, I'd say don't charge, simply because, you know, I mean, if you're really like, if you're that good and you're that confident, like go ahead, charge. I'm not gonna stop you from making more money, but I will say that if you don't charge, then you'll like get. I feel like the ethos. I keep saying that word. But like the air around your name that you get from providing this quality like stuff without you know, charging, because like both you and your clients know that you're a beginner, and maybe it's just me, but I don't feel comfortable like charging people when I'm like not completely confident about my own skills. But yeah, like the first couple photo shoots, I was literally like with my friends, and I had no idea how to direct a model. I still don't really know how to direct a model, but we were like doing a street style photo shoot, and then my two other friends, we did like a photo shoot in like a garden. It really gives you like a different experience, because portrait shooting is so much more different than street photography, but the same skills that you use in street photography transfer over so well, right? Like you can do like framing that you learned in street photography, you can do different compositions, and so I'd say that definitely helps a lot. So try branching out into as many like different branches of photography as possible, because it helps you, one, not only increase your repertoire, like your portfolio, it diversifies that, but also it builds your skill set. And so that's something you want to be like as diverse as possible in the things that you can do. Okay, so in terms of networking, the one thing that I really have to stress is you have to be willing to talk to people. If you don't talk to people, you are not gonna get anywhere, okay? The way I got my job being the photographer for the men's basketball team in my school was, one of my friends was like, oh, I'm gonna be a manager for the women's basketball team. And I was like, oh, okay. And my other friend was like, oh, let's be a manager for the men's basketball team. And I was like, all right, let's say less. And so first we were just like managers, right? I just did the managing stuff for like a couple of days. One of the coaches was like, oh, bro, do you have your camera today? And I was like, no, I'll bring it like the next day. And he was like, okay. So I brought it the next day, and I started taking photos, and he was like, oh, damn, your photos are really good. I'll tell like the person, the social media director about you. And, you know, it like took a while like for him to actually come to the practice. But, you know, I kept asking him, oh, bro, where is he? Blah, blah, blah. He came in, and I was like, okay, I got to talk to him, you know, right? Because it's my chance. And I talked to him, and I had this camera. I didn't even have this camera when I was talking to him. But, you know, I said hi. I said, what's up? What gear are you using? Blah, blah, blah. Just like get acquainted. And then I told him, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to shoot? Where do you want me to be? Because I think he was doing like some video, but I say making yourself available to people who are like a higher like rank than you in your profession is really valuable, and it's very the return on investment is insane. Because thankfully before the season started, I wasn't I got this camera, but as soon as I got this camera, the social media director guy, he came in. That's my boy Yvonne. I don't know why I'm calling him social. Yvonne, he came in, and I was like, yeah, bro, I just got a new camera, blah, blah, blah. And like a couple days later, he's like, oh, bro, by the way, like if you want to use one of my lenses, you know, you definitely can. And so at the games now, I could have access to the lens that he has, where I would never be able to have access to them on my own because I'm ridiculously broke. But like he lets me use his 70-200 Sony G Master on like during the games, which is like a $1,000 lens. I don't know how much it costs, but like I would never be able to have access to that if I didn't talk to him. And so I definitely say get the word out on what you do. Talk to as many people as possible. If you have a camera in your hand, talk to other people with cameras in their hands. People are like so much more friendly than you think they are, especially if you have like something in common like that. And so I say that's one of the biggest things, to one, get new clients, like especially if you're just carrying around a camera around. I've had people walk up to me like in the middle of the street, like asking, you know, bro, like do you do like events and stuff? Like, oh, you know, we should work together. Like one dude, I was like walking home, and I had my camera in my hand, and he stopped his car in the middle of the road, and he was like, bro, you know, we should like work, you know, what do you do? It was just wild, but like, make yourself available. And so, yeah. Okay, if you made it this far, thank you so much for joining me today. This is pretty much like the end of the video. For the future, we're gonna have like a lot of cool content for y'all. You know, today I was just in my bedroom, so you don't really get to see me in action, unfortunately. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.